Welcome back to Bedtime Stories with Eli, and the topic of today's bedtime story is I like the idea of LTR'S, but I also like my space. One more time. I like the idea of LTR'S, long-term relationships, but I also like my space. Well, I can concur with this one here. And I got to watch what I say because I don't want to upset my wonderful lady out there, because I do have a great lady I've been seeing now for a little while. I've talked with her and I've told her, I said, look, I have to share my opinions and experiences of things that happened before you and I got together. And just because you and I have it really good and it's going great doesn't mean it was great in the past. It took a lot of, trials and tribulations to get to where we're at. But anyway, let's get to this Reddit posting for today's bedtime story. And this is from the subreddit Dating Over 30. The original poster puts the title out there as this: I like the idea of a long-term relationship and or marriage, but also my space. Let's read what they said here. Anyone else dealing with this? Question mark. I think everyone contemplates this because I think everyone wants to have true love and happiness in a relationship, but they also want the other person to value their space. Because before, you start dating someone, you have all this free time and you're doing things, focusing on your purpose and other things that you don't want someone coming into your life and completely taking over your life. That would be overwhelming and overbearing. So it has to be a good balance. Not sure if it is selfish, but dang it, I like my exercise when I want, activities when I want, sleeping when and how I want, going out shopping when I want, etc. Sounds like a woman wrote this, but we still don't know. I mean, I'm sure that many couples work through this fine, but I just don't know if I could handle this sort of shared space arrangement for long term. Sounds like you have commitment phobia. Many people do. And here's the thing. If you find the right person, they're going to understand you and value your space and time. And you're going to also understand them and value their space and time. But let's continue here. Keep in mind, I say this while functioning on 4 hours of sleep. Oh, okay. Because I stayed overnight with my BF. It's a woman writing this. I was right. And he likes to sleep a certain way that doesn't work quite well or quite as well for me. Well, why don't you tell him that? Or what is he doing? Why don't you share more, man? You're not giving us more details. How does he sleep? Does he snore? Does he like to sleep up next to you and you just want a little breathing room when you sleep? I mean, here's the thing. I love a little cuddling and snuggling before bed, maybe, 1 or 2 sessions of sex or something, right? And then you snuggle for a little bit, watch a little TV, and then you fall asleep, and you don't necessarily have to snuggle or cuddle all night. My thing is this. If I'm in the same bed with my partner on any given night when we're having an overnight, or if, let's say, we're living together, I'm not living together with this woman yet, but who knows what happens down the road. But if we were living together and we were snuggling every night and being intimate every night, after a while, I'd go to my side of the bed, she'd go to her side of the bed. And it's not that we don't want to be close together and hold each other all night. You just can't get the most recouping type of sleep if you're holding each other. When you're able to just lay flat and spread your arms out and your legs out, and not have that person on you, you're going to be able to get better quality sleep. No disrespect to the other person, right? But just make sure, in my opinion, get the biggest bed possible. That's why I have a California king size bed, because if you like to stretch out your hands and your legs, and so does your partner, you want to have a king size or California king size bed to the point of where the bed is wide enough and long enough for you to do that. Anyway, let's get to the comments section here and see what was stated in the comments. Looks like a 30s female here commented by saying this is possible. There's the idea of living apart together. My aunt and uncle dated for 20 years in different houses an hour apart. Okay, long distance relationship. They can work as long as you communicate, you truly love each other, and you're secure in the relationship, both the man and the woman. But most long-term relationships require you to compromise a little on the whole. I agree. Compromise is everything. Okay? I want to do what I want when I want with no regard for another human. That's why I believe in the saying that Coach Corey Wayne, another dating coach out here on YouTube, says you have to love in such a way where the other person you love feels free. One more time. You have to love in such a way where the person that you love feels free. Like with my lady, you know what? I care about her, and I would do anything for her. Okay, but I also give her the freedom to do whatever she wants to do whenever she wants to do it, and when she's free and wants to hang around, she just will call me or text me and we'll make plans. The thing is, she's really into me and she wants to spend as much time with me as possible. But the reason why she wants to do that is because I give her the time and space to miss me, to wonder about me. I'm not weak. I'm not needy. I'm not desperate. I'm not insecure. I'm not texting her off the hook all the time. I let her come to me. That's another thing that a lot of guys just don't get out there. Okay. Let's see. I say this as a human who is running on 2 hours of sleep this morning because my boyfriend and I have very different schedules. And it is my day to compromise on sleep, and I tolerate less sleep better than him. Okay, some people can tolerate having less sleep better than their partner. I don't think if you're dating someone that either one of you should have to suffer on sleep. You gotta, figure out each other's sleeping patterns and what makes the both of you feel comfortable, and do your best to understand and work with the other person's, sleeping needs. Okay? This means I'll be going to bed early tonight and we won't chat much after he works. Okay, sometimes that happens. You can talk the next night, right? Not a big deal. This is the figuring it out bit to make their relationship work while staying sane. I do get it. I've spent nearly 35 years doing whatever the hell I want when I want, but it is nice to have someone worth adjusting my life for to make it work. That's the key right there. Is that other person you're dating, whether you're a man or a woman, worth making the sacrifices for, okay? If that's a person that's a good person, they work hard, they're smart, they're kind, loving, caring, considerate, they're just a great partner overall, you're going to be willing to adjust to the way they do things, and the same on the flip side, they're going to be willing to adjust to the way that you do things. That's called compromise. But in order to compromise, it has to be worth it. You both have to be worthy of each other, right? And respect each other. All right, let's see. We also do a lot of parallel living, which is the ideal for me in a relationship. Parallel living. Okay, does that mean you each have your own places and sometimes he spends the night at your place, sometimes you spend the night at his place? Okay. That's fine. In the beginning, that's fine. Eventually, if you're going to move forward, yeah, you're going to move in together, but in the beginning, you're not going to do that. Quality time, but not necessarily doing the exact same thing at the same time together. That being said, is there a way to address the sleep issue? Yeah. Ask the person that you're with or talk with them about what the issue is. If they're snoring and that affects you, talk with them about it, because there are things you can do about snoring to minimize it or eliminate it. But most people will just sit there and tolerate it because they're afraid to offend their partner. And guess what? After a while, when it really affects your sleep, because loud snoring can affect your sleep, right? You're going to get so annoyed that you may just want to, walk away from the relationship. Address it as soon as possible. If there are any problems in the relationship, whether it's in the bedroom or other aspects, address them right away. Don't be afraid. Gosh. Okay, let's read a couple more comments here before we wrap this up. The original poster responds and says, "That's such an interesting idea. I had heard of couples maintaining separate bedrooms and or couch fold-out bed space in certain circumstances or for certain times, but not specifically houses." These young kids nowadays, man, They make things so difficult. Why make it so difficult? You each have a bed in a bedroom. Okay, you're either going to stay there or you're not. So I think what she's saying here is that, couch fold out bed space. Well, if he's like in his bedroom and he's snoring, I'm just going to sleep on his couch. I'll pull out the sofa bed, right? That's not the way to work a relationship. You address the issue. Hey, babe, I care about you. I love you. But listen, you're snoring. And I don't mean to be rude. Is there anything we can do to minimize your snoring? Have you contacted your doctor? You got to talk things out. Because if not, it's going to get to you at some point and it's going to end the relationship and it's going to be a waste of your time and his time. Talk it out. That's all you have to do. And yes, that's a good point. You do have to make some sacrifices and compromises for the benefit of having a BF or GF there for you, to comfort you, hold you, laugh with you, cry with you, etc. The company is quite nice. That's what it's all about. We all want companionship. We all want to share our life with someone. We're just trying to find someone we're the most compatible with, and we're also trying to find someone that we can just deal with all of their good stuff and bad stuff. I mean, that's the name of the game. I get it. Let's see here. So yeah, you do have to make some sacrifices and compromises for the benefit of having a BF or GF there for you, to comfort you, hold you, laugh with you, cry with you, etc. The company is quite nice. I already read that. Thank you for sharing your experiences with me. Parallel living sounds interesting. What is parallel living? Is it living in separate places and spending time at his place one night and your place the other night? In terms of sleeping arrangements, I am blessed in that we sort of live a distance apart and stay occupied with my work. It isn't feasible for me to go there too much, so at least 5 to 7 days of the week, I have my own bed to myself. We have talked about getting some blackout curtains set up as well to curtail some of the glare in the sleeping room. I hate those blackout curtains. I mentioned in a video in the past where I dated this woman that had blackout curtains. That's what they're called, right? It makes the room completely pitch black and you can't see a damn thing. It's almost like you're blind. If you can't see and hear, if I can't see and hear, like while I'm sleeping, at least hear something or see something, I start to panic. But some people like it pitch black. This sounds like this woman does. Anyway, and you live a distance apart. That's not a bad thing, where you only see each other 2 out of the 7 days out of the week. 5 out of the 7 days of the week, you have your own bed to yourself. Maybe you see him on the weekends. That's how most of my relationships have gone in the past, because I work on the weekdays and my exes worked on the weekdays and they had weekends off. And even though they lived about an hour away, it was worth the drive to, go spend the weekend with them and then come back and work the next week. She'll work the next week, and then next weekend we lather, rinse, repeat. Now with the woman I'm with right now, she works in retail management and doesn't have every weekend off, so I adjust to her schedule because I'm self-employed. But for the right person, you're going to make the adjustments. But here it sounds like you got a good thing going and you're not overdoing it. Seeing each other 2 times a week, 2 overnights a week, maybe, one weekend you go to his place, another weekend he comes to your place, right? Switch off. That's great. And then if it starts to progress, then maybe you move in together and that's not a problem anymore, right? The distance is not a problem anymore. Okay? That's how you handle it. We have talked about getting some blackout curtains as well. I read that, to curtail some of the glare in the sleeping room. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like again, this woman likes it pitch black. Maybe that's part of what she wants. Quite frankly, that wouldn't work for me. So that'd be a deal breaker. If any woman I end up being with wants blackout curtains and wants it completely silent and pitch black, then it's game over. It's just not going to go anywhere. That would just freak me out. And that would make me panic. So, maybe you need to tell him that. Okay? And if he's not cool with it, then you both need to part ways and move on. It's the bottom line. Let's read one more before we wrap this up here. It sounds like that's the problem right there. Adding on my last relationship, we had separate bedrooms. It was amazing, but we did have to work on the romance, so avoid feeling like roommates. But we had sleepovers and would cuddle up until one of us fell asleep, then we separate. That's what I said earlier. So yeah, have some great sex, snuggle up, and then after a little while of snuggling, you have the TV on maybe a little bit in the background, turn off the TV, and you go to your side, he goes to his side. That's great. Perfect. It worked for us, but you need a very understanding partner to approach this with, haha, what do you mean? That's just a natural thing. You don't need an understanding partner. You just need a normal partner, right? I mean, seriously, you're in the same bed. You make love, have sex once or twice, snuggle up a little bit, watch a little TV, have a little conversation, and then you fall asleep and you go to his side naturally. Sorry, he goes to his side naturally and you go to your side naturally. I mean, if your partner doesn't get that naturally, then there's something wrong with your partner. I think that was a response by the person that responded above here. Let me see. No, it wasn't. It was a different person. Let's read one more here. LAT is definitely worth looking into more. What is LAT? I'm not quite sure. It really worked for them. Learning to be together, but independent can be helpful. I'm going to play video games. Cool, I'll be over here reading. You still feel like you have your time without feeling like you have to entertain someone all the time. If you're not living together yet and you invite your partner over, and let's say you're a guy, you invite your girlfriend over and you're not living together and you're playing video games with the limited time she has to spend with you, like on a weekend or something, then if I was the woman, I'd break up with the guy. That's just stupid. Now, if you're living together, okay, you're with each other all the time, you can play video games at times, right? But don't let that affect your relationship and don't let other things suffer. Don't get sucked into the video game vortex to the point of where it affects your relationship. But why would you two get together? Especially if you're not living together. Why would you two spend the night together for the guy to play video games and for you to, what did you say? Cool, I'll be over here reading. It sounds like you don't want to do that. It sounds like you're, just agreeing to be nice when you would really rather have him in the bed, snuggled up with you, watching a movie or doing something together, right? Why the hell would any guy invite a girl to spend the night or weekend with him if he wants to play video games? Come on! You'll still feel like you have your time without feeling like you have to entertain someone all the time. Again, when you're together, you're entertaining each other. If you're dating and you're starting off by spending weekends together, that's your time together. If you don't want to entertain each other for the entire weekend, then don't date. Dating is about being together and doing things together. Okay? Why invite your woman over or your man over if you're going to do something else while they're there? That doesn't include them. What the hell's wrong with you people nowadays? Come on. I would make any adjustments you need to get as good of quality of sleep as you can when they're, so you might feel less frustrated. You don't have to change the quality of your sleep or adjust anything. You need to talk with your partner, okay? Because a partner that's kind, caring, and considerate is going to be open to hearing, your sleeping patterns. Is going to be open to hearing what you like and don't like. Sounds like you ladies nowadays feel like if you do the slightest little thing wrong, these guys are going to leave you. Just talk with them about it. Have a nice conversation. Hey, babe, I typically like to get to bed by 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and you like to get to bed, at midnight or 1 and play video games. I mean, babe, I got to be honest with you. That's just not going to work for me. Is that something we can compromise on? And if not, then you got to part ways. I've had many women that needed to be in bed by a certain time because they're used to going to bed at that time, like 10 or 11, right? Now, sometimes we stay up later, but, I'll tell you this, when I'm with a woman and, she needs to be in bed by 10 or 11, that's because that's the time she normally goes to sleep when she's not around me. That forces me to go to bed earlier, and quite honestly, that's actually better for me, right? And so I could easily compromise with that, and I have in the past because it more so benefits me. Because I can be a night owl. I'm an entrepreneur, and sometimes I stay up into the wee, hours of the morning working on things when I should really just, go to sleep earlier and then do it the next day, right? So yeah, that's what I value about having a good partner in my life. But while sleep is very important, if it is once or twice a week, it might be a concession for the moment. I often focus on that latter part. These things don't have to be permanent. We can make shifts over time to help everyone adjust more easily, whether that's moving, different jobs, etc. The bottom line is this. It's called compromise. If you are a man and a woman and you want to date each other, you need to see how compatible you are mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and you have to be able to compromise regarding the ways that you have done things all your life while you're single. Being in a relationship is about compromise, okay? And some things, are deal breakers. And if something's a deal breaker for you, and you mention it to your partner and they're not willing to compromise on that aspect, then unfortunately you have to move on. That's the bottom line. You got to be happy within yourself first before you can be happy with somebody else. And you shouldn't have to completely change your ways just to be with someone, okay? So within reason, okay, you should be able to compromise, regarding small differences. For example, in the bedroom, like I mentioned earlier, if you have a partner that snores, that would upset anyone. That would affect anyone from getting sleep, right? And if your partner, heard you snoring, right, they would probably tell you. So if you hear them snoring, why don't you talk with them about it? And if it's consistent to the point of where it affects your sleep, you need to say, hey, let's figure this out. Let's try to get you some, help, through the doctors to see if we can minimize or get rid of the snoring, because it's really, really affecting me from sleeping. And a good partner will say, babe, you're right. I've had snoring issues. I've had exes tell me in the past, drives them crazy. It's time I do something about it. Thank you. I'll go to the doctor. You want to come to the doctor with me? Maybe she'll come with you, or maybe just do it by yourself. But that's all you need to do is compromise. Compromise, 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 folks. That's what it's all about here. And if you aren't able to compromise on some things that may be deal breakers, then maybe it's time to move forward and find someone else that will compromise with you. So with that being said, it's time to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for taking the time to view it. Another video is coming to this channel soon. Please like, share, subscribe, bang the bell, select the notifications, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye.